Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another video. Yes, I'm an Indian and I'm going to react to some American stuff. Generally it's the other way around. We are Asian people who requires white validation all the time. Whenever somebody puts Indian in the title, they get all the views. I'm going to do the exact opposite. I, as an Indian, I'm going to react to American stuff and validate them. I'm not going to get any views probably, but I kind of want to do that. That's something that I always want to try out. If any of the Indians are watching, hit the likes up, because we should also show them that they can be validated by Indian people. Their presidential election is going to happen, and they have a presidential debate, which I think is very healthy. Actually, we should have something like that in India. But I'm really questioning that idea because I think our PM Narendra Modi hasn't attended any press conferences. Maybe he has attended one, and people are claiming that it's a scripted conference. I don't know if it is true or not. It would be really healthy to have something like that, to have a presidential debate, and they have a script. I'm assuming, they wouldn't really go on CNN without a script. Maybe at least a scripted presidential debate would be good. And definitely, they're gonna probably make references to things which I'm not aware of. I'm gonna view this from my Indian specs without not much context of all these things. So I'm gonna watch some of the highlights over here. There we go.
Do you support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
Dude, Biden looks dead. He looks like a vegetable. I'm so sorry, but maybe he's not having any cognitive decline, but he looks kind of bad. He should probably get plastic surgery or something at least to make him look a little more alive. He looks dead. I don't know, man. I'm probably gonna get killed by Americans tomorrow, and there'll be a sniper rifle somewhere pointed to my head from some American guy who's a Democrat, and right.
I support Roe v.
I want to hear the question again. I'm gonna go back.
Do you support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
Okay, that's a very good question. Pro-choice or pro-life? I'm actually pro-choice, but under certain conditions. So, let's say the baby is fully grown, we have a fetus, a baby delivered. Then at that point, I'm pro-life. I don't want to kill the baby, but when it's in the womb, if it's really early stages, I'm actually pro-choice. The mom should be able to abort that. I wouldn't call it a baby then, that growing being. I wouldn't call it a being. I'm gonna call it a group of cells, right? That's my take on that. But let's see what his take is.
I support Roe v. Wade.
He can take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth.
That is simply not true.
Wait, 9th month even after later. I think he's suggesting that Biden said that.
Simply not true. We are not for late-term abortion, period.
Okay, they're not for, he's confirming, he's clarifying that, they're not for late-term abortion, which I agree with.
COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look.
We had the
Man, they're gonna make a meme out of this, right?
safest border in history. Now we have the worst border in history. There's never been anything like it.
There's no data.
Oh, yeah, they were having a huge immigration crisis. I'm a bit aware about that, people were getting into the American borders. I think all sorts of people, Asians, even Indians, right? People were getting shot and all in the borders too. I don't have much data regarding this. I'm no person to speak about this, so I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Support what you said. Okay. Once again, he's exaggerating, he's lying. And
there is data to sustain that. I think I agree. I think I had to disagree with Biden. I'm generally a liberal. I'm leaning towards Democrats, but I don't know what the solution is for that is to, because when they are migrating, right, what is the solution? Is the solution to send them back? They come all the way. Maybe it is to send them back, I guess. In long term, that would be better. Does that mean they have to shut off countries like USA for people like us?
He's a total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
He's stammering.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. If a Republican did that, they'd go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now.
But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. He caused the inflation, and it's killing black families and Hispanic families.
There was no inflation when I became president. You know why? The economy was flat on its back. 15% unemployment. He decimated the economy. The only one who wants the war to continue is Hamas. We are the biggest producer of support for Israel of anyone in the world.
He said the only one who wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job.
The only existential threat.
Okay, yeah, I think both people are pro Israel, I guess. And yeah, I'm not going to say my position in the war. See, I'm against Palestinians being killed like rats. I do not support the attack by Hamas. Either on Israel killing 1,500 people. It made sense in the beginning, but now it's just massacre, I guess.
Didn't do a damn thing about it.
I'm gonna get killed in the comments.
The Paris Accord was going to cost us $1 trillion. It was a ripoff of the United States. He never fired people. I've never seen him fire anybody. I did fire a lot. I fired Comey because he was no good. I fired a lot of the top people at the FBI, drained the swamp. They were no good. This guy hasn't fired anybody. He's the worst president in the history of our country. He's destroyed our country.
Really?
Presidential historians, they've had meetings and they voted who's the worst president in American history. One through best to worst. They said he was the worst in all of American history.
He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
You want to have a war, just let Putin go ahead and take Kyiv, make sure they move on, see what happens in Poland, Hungary, and other places along that border. Then you have a war.
The only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again.
We're the envy of the world. Name me a single major country president who wouldn't trade places with the United States.
Biden has some good points against Trump. Some of what he said is actually very staggering points. Like, Trump has a good relationship with Putin, and a lot of people believe that Trump is actually agreeing with a lot of what Putin said, which I completely disagree with. Putin invading Ukraine was like in no way justifiable. In Russia, mostly what is happening is as a dictatorship, right? Even the elections are not fair. It's an electoral autocracy, and Trump is actually on board with a lot of things, right? And when it was Trump's term, a lot of things what he said upset a lot of Americans and a lot of people. He has said and tweeted things due to which he got banned from Twitter. I do not think he deserved to be banned for that act, but a lot of things are something that should have never came out of a president's mouth. At the same time, a lot of things Biden has done, ability to sit as a president, a person who might have cognitive decline, not quite so sure. There was a lot of accusations that Biden was just a puppet of a lot of these corporates. He was not making decisions on his own. Mentioned a point that Biden was not firing anyone. That could have been because he was not actually in control. Other people were controlling, maybe Kamala Harris. So I'm not quite sure about that. And migration crisis, that's definitely an issue for America. Apart from that, I don't think I agree with any points of the conservatives. I'm generally a liberal, irrespective of whether it's America or not. But I don't support communism. I don't think it works in long term.
1 million of them now have insurance, and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And his group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living right next to one of those burn pits, came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in France for D-Day, and I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
Damn it, Dan. That's a heck of a line. You're a sucker, you're a loser. Wow.
Quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up, and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have. To think that I would, in front of generals and others, say suckers and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia was made up, just like the 51 intelligence agents are made up, just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking. It's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That came from his son, Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation. He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
4-star general standing to your side was on your staff who said you said it, period. That's number one. And number two, the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything along the line. We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history. and they now are in their family. The only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they go to war.
Biden is like very aggressive, but Trump is actually seems to stick to a script, I guess. Biden is going
That's what
off
the VA
script.
is.
He is actually raising a lot of good points, I guess, but the aggression and the way he looks at people, it's actually
We've
catching me
ever
off guard.
before in our history.
Maybe it's a bad idea. I'm not getting a lot of these references, which I believe there's no point in watching further of these until I understand all these references. So I'm gonna stop it right there. It was very interesting, like calling each other sucker in front of national television, which is something that everyone is going to watch. That is a vibe, man. I don't know how much of it is going to affect the elections. I don't think it is going to affect it much, but there's a spirit of democracy over there, which I really hope that other countries had. Like, I honestly wish something like that would happen in India. It would be great. I'm kind of concerned about the power just went down. Actually, I think it's a very healthy thing to do, and I think all the democracies should have something like this. More debates like in public. I kind of want the politicians to be raw. So I hope we get a unscripted interview, which probably is never going to happen even if it's a democracy. In India, people, there's a possible thing that there could have been an electoral autocracy, but this election proves a little different because even with a lot of claims going on by the opposition, we had a decent I don't know what word to use. The results were actually not bad, which kind of invalidated the whole exit polls that we got from every single news media channel. I don't know what's going on in my country. I'm more of a liberalist, but I do have my troubles with Biden, but that is something Americans have to worry about. I don't have to worry about anything, right? I'm waiting for all these things. Right, the power is back. Okay, I'm not going to re-record this. God damn it, it's gone again. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.